Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of RL Guns. Thanks for stopping by, appreciate it. This episode is on that Remington 1100. I don't know if you've seen our short that we had, but we put up a short on it. And a little bit of history about this gun. Yeah, it's my personal firearm. It's not for sale. I'm not selling it. There's no amount of money that'll let me turn loose to it. Only because I had a lot of time invested in this thing. A lot of time. Probably about a year. I mean, you know, not long, but just had a lot of time. Look, take a look at this. All right, we showed you in the short what it looked like. You can take a look at that right there. That is what it looked like. I went to my brother's house many years ago, okay? And he had his brother-in-law was there, and God rest his soul. And he had drove a pickup truck, and in the back of the pickup truck on my way out, I saw that in the back of the truck. It was up against the bulkhead, you know, towards the back of the window in the truck. That's all it was. It was just sitting there. And I asked him, I said, hey man, what is that? And he told me, he said, well, it was my Remington 1100. I said, what in the world? He said, man, I missed a deer, I got mad, and I hit it around the tree, bent the barrel, threw the barrel down, threw this in the back of the truck. I said, oh my gosh. I said, God, it wasn't the gun's fault. He said, well, I know, but that's where it is. If you want it, you can have it. I said, oh, okay, yeah, let me take it. So, you see what it looked like. Now, back during that time, I wasn't doing any YouTube stuff. I didn't even know about YouTube at the time. But I figured I'd try to share that with you guys now because this was a lot of hard work. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this thing. This thing, it took me about a year. May have been a little longer. But I mean, you see how it turned out. I mean, it's remarkable. It's just remarkably well. The barrel is brand new. Now that I had to buy because he, you know, obviously there was no barrel. He broke the barrel, or bent the barrel, I should say. So let me start out with this. So anyway, here's some pictures that I'm going to put up there, and that's really all I have. I don't have any footage. I mean, because at the time I was working on this thing, I thought, I'm never going to get it together. I'm never going to fix it. It's not going to work. I'm just, there's no way I'm going to get this rusted thing, get back. It's going to be pitted. I can't, you know, the finish is going to be bad. There's nothing I can do with this thing. The more I worked at it, the more frustrated, the more negativity I had towards thinking that I was going to make it work. The only thing that got me to making it work was my brother told me, he said, dude, you can make it work. You ain't got much left to do on it. It was a lot. It was a lot of work. I mean, a ton of work. If you look at, let's look at the receiver part. You see the receiver part, how well it turned out. Now, the bluing is difficult. My wife, I had to put it in my wife's oven. she was out. This is something else. She was out shopping or something, and all my instructions, you know, I had to heat this thing up and yada yada yada. I went and bought these big cooking glove things for oyster shells, you know, they're huge. And I'm standing in her kitchen. That's a photo I should have got. And she walks in and she says, "What in the world are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm taking you out to dinner tonight. And, well, of course, that didn't throw her off track. So I had to tell her what I was doing. I said, look, I'm borrowing your oven. I got to have your oven to bake this receiver so I can glue it. Yeah, I never heard the end of that. But look, here's the whole deal about it. This gun is in the family, or I should say the receiver part is in family, so it is not for sale, will not be for sale, will never go anywhere. I got on Evil Bay, you know, and had to look for a stock and a foreign grip, okay? All right, this one, this one. All right, so I found this guy, he was selling both of them. He had taken these off and put the composite black ones on, which I think that just destroyed it to me. He wanted $160 for these grips. I ain't never gonna forget it. I tried to haggle with him a little bit. He said, nope, that's what I'm selling them for. I said, well, I gotta have them. So I bought them. Got them in, and now you see the condition. This is what they were in. I never done anything with them. This is exactly how I received them. I never refinished them. I never done nothing to them. Even the butt, you know, you see that? This is original OEM, a Remington 1100, foreign grip, and the butt stock. Those are original. Sorry, it looked like I was pointing a finger at you, and I didn't mean that. That was just the way I was trying to hold this thing. But I did have to buy a barrel, like I said earlier. And that was expensive. That barrel was not cheap. But I did go ahead and get the ventilated rib, you know, since I can't get the original barrel, which is really what I wanted. But, you know, they kind of stopped making this particular one in 1987, I think is what it was. And I got a little bit of that stuff I can tell you about this thing here in a minute. So did have to buy a barrel. Believe it or not, I was able to save the bolt. Now you can tell it's still a little bit, you know, it's not perfect. It really ain't. But this thing works like a champ. I mean, I've taken it out multiple times and completely loaded it up, 5 rounds off as fast as I can pull the trigger, and it'll just shoot them right out, no problem at all. Everything seems to be good. We did have to replace the springs, some detenses. There were several things in there on the inside of the receiver we had to replace other than the bolt and the firing pin. But I did buy a new firing pin anyway because that thing it looked bad. So the firing pin, all the springs, the barrel or the bolt. And now it has been rebuilt inside. Now you can't see, there's really nothing that you can, I don't know if the light will show anything in there or not, but there's really nothing you can see in there as far as internally that was done. But we did rebuild that bolt. So everything in that has been done. Here's a funny thing. You see this little piece right here? Well, that wasn't on the firearm when I brought it back. But he called me like a couple weeks later. He said, hey man, I found something in the back of the truck you might need for that thing. And so we met up and he gave it to me and it was that. So that thing wasn't even in there, so I got lucky and got it back. But that was in the middle of tearing this thing down and just really, really stroking it hard. The next thing that we did have to replace that is not OEM is I did have to put a brand new trigger assembly in it. The whole trigger assembly. And the reason is the other one was so far gone. It was pitted and rusted so bad there was nothing I could do with it. It was just in bad shape. We're talking about this thing. He said the thing was in the back of his truck for over a year in the rain and all the elements. So I was really worried about just even the finish on the receiver, if I was even going to get it right. And it's not pitted. Thank goodness it's not. So it went, you know, back together fairly well after that. But like I said, it took us about a year, a little over a year, just to work on this part. and find the other parts and get them in and get this thing together. So y'all can see all the pics of what I could find and put up. And I think they're all of them. I don't know. We've done so many guns refinished, but I think they're all right. If they're not, don't holler at me. I just may have just picked the wrong picture. I don't know, but I think they're right. I'm almost certain. Okay. Well, the Remington 1100 was designed in 1963 by a Wayne Leake and a Robert Kelly. The Remington model 1100 was introduced in 1963 as a successor to the Model 58 and Model 878 gas-operated shotguns. Now, this gun goes back, to 1963, and they produced a lot of these things all the way up to I think 1987, I think is what it was. The Remington is still in production, but several variations of the Remington 1100 model shotgun, despite the discontinuation of the Sportsman 12 in 1987, which is this. That one is discontinued. The Model 1100 is a gas-operated. It's a 5-shot auto-loader shotgun that was first introduced in 1963. The Model 1100 is a versatile and reliable shotgun that can be used for many hunting purposes, including duck hunting, any type of fowl hunting it can be used for. There's aftermarket magazines, extensions, they're all available for the 1100, which allows, spring snow goose hunters to use it during, conservation orders and all that there. So anyway, yeah, you can get, there's still a lot of aftermarket parts you can get for it. Now, if you're trying to find the OEM parts like I did on this, it was very difficult. It was hard to find OEM parts. This trigger assembly that I have, unfortunately, it's not an OEM part. I couldn't find one at the time. I looked and looked and looked, and there was this company that did some cloning parts of certain things, and then they happened to have it. It was expensive, and it's a CNC machine piece out of aluminum, which is kind of nice because you don't have to worry about that rust. But it's unfortunate that I couldn't get an OEM part because I really wanted this thing completely all OEM. But as far as that for the barrel lower trigger assembly, there was no way for me to do that at that time. I couldn't find it. The Model 11 through 87 semi-automatic and Model 870 express pump action shotguns were introduced back in 1987 to replace the Model 1100, which is the Sportsman, which is this one. That's the one it replaced. The Model 1100 competition synthetic was introduced in 2011, and a highly decorated 50th anniversary version was released in 2013. We have one of those, and we got one of those, or I got one of those. I should say I do. It's my personal one. I bought it off somebody, and they didn't take care of it, and it had surface rust, and it was a little pitting on the barrel or whatever, and I redid that too. And I got pictures on that. That's pretty. Man, it's got the little ducks and all flying over the side of the receiver, and it's really, really pretty. So I probably should put some pictures up just to show you guys that firearm. Beautiful, beautiful firearm. I don't know of anything else to add on this thing. I think when I bought this barrel, if you look at the tip of it, it does have adjustable chokes. I just throwed in the full choke and left that in there just like it is, and not going to mess with it anymore. I think I'm just going to leave it at that. But anyway, guys, look, I hope y'all enjoyed the information on this thing, because that was painstaking and a lot of work, a lot of hard work. After you saw the picture of what this thing looked like, it's hard to believe that it turned out like this. It really is. But look, that's just another thing of saying, if you push your mind to something and you work hard, you take your time, and you work at what you want, you're going to get what you want. That's just That's just the way it is. Y'all take care. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And subscribe if you don't mind. Need all we can get. Y'all take care. We'll see you on the next one.